Fuku looked at her room fearfully. It was an absolute mess. Stuffed animals strewn across the ground, manuscripts everywhere, stacks of drawings everywhere, and let's not forget the garbage can overflowing with energy drinks and snacks. How did I let this get so bad? Fuku shouted as she brought her hands to the sides of her head, almost pulling out her hair from the stress. Oh, I know how. I was too busy working all week, so I forgot to clean. Normally, she wouldn't be too stressed out about this. But today was different. Today Frisk was coming over, and they could not see their room in this state. Okay, I have to clean all of this up fast. Fuku thought as she looked at everything. Knock, knock, knock. Howdy, Frisk said from the other side of the door. Oh, no. Fuku screamed internally as she looked at her door fearfully. They're already here. What am I gonna do? What am I gonna do? Snap. Did I come too early? I can explore a bit until you're ready. Frisk offered. Snap. Yeah, sorry. Fuku said apologetically. It's fine. A lady needs time to get ready. Frisk said teasily. Just shoot me a text when you're done. See ya in a bit. Fuku breathed a sigh of relief before turning around. Did the room get cleaner? Damn, she's good. Yaba hissed. She as well as her two sisters were in the game room, playing Superhero Bash. And their opponent? Amai. It's like she's not human. Inu said as she struggled to coordinate with her sisters to try and take Amai down. But Amai reacted perfectly, separating them with grabs and strong knockback attacks before taking them down. Do you think 3 ants could defeat the sun? Amai laughed. Get wrecked, losers. Game. Ugh, hi. The sisters groaned as they lost again. GG. Amai gloated as she gave the girls a smug look. Do you need to use that obnoxious gamer talk? G sighed, giving Amai an irritated look. Sorry. The gamer in me is too strong. Amai apologized. I wonder if your personality shifts have something to do with your ability. Yiti orais. Oh, that looks fun. Frisk walked into the room, revealing themselves. Howdy. Oh, you're Fuku's new friend. Ye recognized. Yup. Hey, do you mind letting me play? Frisk asked, jumping onto the couch. I'm pretty good at games if I do say so myself. Sure, why not? Yaba shrugged, handing her a controller. You're gonna lose though. It's not about winning. It's about fun. Frisk said. I'm glad you understand that. It'll make eating dirt much easier. Amai taunted as she started the game. The two played for a little while. Amai was dominant as usual, but Frisk wasn't faring too poorly. Wow, you're almost half decent, Amai said as she leaned forward a bit, putting in a bit of effort. Yeah, and you're really good, Frisk said as they fought for their life. Are you one of those professional gamers? Yup, glad you can tell. You've got some good talent. Amai praised before her grin turned vicious. But it's not enough. And with that, Amai combined a throw into a powerful attack, taking out Frisk. Game. Oh wow, you did a lot better than I thought, Yaba admitted. You even took stock from her. Yeah, you've got some serious talent, but you haven't put in the work. Amai gloated. It's been a while since I've had to put in even that much effort though. Do you want to get a real challenge? Frisk asked. If I use my quirk, I promise you'll get a real good fight. Do it, Amai said excitedly, eagerly accepting the challenge. Snap. Let's begin, Frisk said. The game started once again, but this time it felt entirely different. Amai was on the offense, but Frisk was fighting back. The two going toe-to-toe, evenly matched. Whoa, he or is it she? Whatever, they're actually winning a bit, Yaba exclaimed. Amai internally panicked for a second. She hadn't expected Frisk to suddenly level up in real life. and as such she was put at a disadvantage that she now had to crawl back from. Wait a second, what is this quirk? You wanted a better opponent, so I granted your wish, Frisk said simply as they focused on the game. Have fun. Wait, so does your quirk grant wishes somehow? G asked, suddenly looking very interested. How does it work? Spill it. Sure. All I have to do is want something, and I can wish it into existence, Frisk explained. Well, it's a bit more complicated than that. Wishes need power, and that power comes from willpower. Not just mine, but anyone else who's wishing for the same thing. The more we want something, the more determined we are, the more wishes I can grant. For this wish, I just used a my and my determination, and it worked like a charm. I can see that, Amai said, really getting into the challenge, smiling as she started sweating intensely. Oh yeah, now we're talking. G was about to ask more questions about Frisk's quirk when Yaba put her hand over her mouth. Save the nerd crap for after the match, sis. Don't be rude, Yaba told her. G moved her sister's hand away from her mouth. Oh, that's rich coming from you.
Oi.
What's that supposed to mean? You challenged me to fight? Yaba snarled. No fighting, Inu said, giving them both light bonks on the head. Quiet down, I need to focus, Amai shouted before continuing to focus on the match. What continued after that was a highly skilled, tense match, with both players performing difficult maneuvers and skillful plays, until they were both down to their last stock. The game nearing its end, but no winner could be discerned, but Frisk had a slight advantage. That sloppiness in the opening part cost me big time, Amai thought to herself. Damn it, I might lose. Darn. Well, at least it was a fun match. Hey, Yami said, coming into the room, with a hound pushing a tray of food. Finish making food. Movie time. Amai's hands tightened around her controller. Never mind. I can't lose here. Suddenly, something in the match changed. Frisk's level of skill seemingly reverted back to how it was pre-wish. Are they going easy on me? Don't like that one bit, but I guess it's better than losing in front of Yami. Amai pouted. Huh, she broke the wish? Frisk thought as they felt their quirk's power vanish. Game. Phew. Amai immediately set down her controller as a wave of relief washed over her. Had fun? Yami asked as he got up on the couch next to her. Lots, Amai said, giving him a victorious smile. Yami gave her a small smile back and then patted her on the head. Good. Happy. Amai's face exploded into red, and a big love-struck grin covered her face. Oh, that's how she broke the wish. Frisk giggled. Wait a minute. They're not a couple yet? Snap. Oh, so that's what's going on. Frisk immediately got a grasp on the situation. Normally it's pretty uncool to meddle in someone's relationship, but a tiny push should be fine. Snap. Get a room, you two. Yaba rolled her eyes. Snap. Get a room. Does Amai like me that way? Yami asked himself suddenly, the thought popping into his head. Well, that should do it. Frisk got off the couch and started walking away. Well, that was fun, but I gotta go. See ya. Wait, I still need to ask about your quirk, G said, getting up to follow them. Sure, I'm happy to explain. Frisk gave her a grin. So long as you let me keep looking at that pretty face of yours.
Oi.
Now flirting with my sisters. Yaba growled, glaring at Frisk. So, you'd rather I flirt with you? Frisk teased. I wouldn't if I were you, G advised. I don't even wanna imagine what her in a relationship would be like. Screw you, Yaba said. I'm so sorry it took me so long, Fuku said as she welcomed Frisk into her room. It's fine. Your room is cute by the way and matches its owner, Frisk said, giving her a wink. Fuku blushed. Do you just flirt with everyone? Pretty much. It's a habit, and a little bit of a problem at times, but don't worry about that. Frisk assured them. So, what do you want to do? Fuku started sweating. She hadn't thought this far. Snap. You want to play Legend of Zelda together? Fuku asked nervously, suddenly getting an idea much to her relief. Isn't that a single-player game? Frisk asked, not expecting that reply. It is, but I had a friend of mine mod it, so now it has a multiplayer mode. Fuku explained. Neat, let's play. Frisk said eagerly, picking up a controller as the two started up the game. Something was up here. Izuku was elated to hear about Fuku making a friend outside the house. However, given the circumstances of everything, naturally Izuku would have to look into them. And what he found was strange. Furasukuyum, born in a remote town, so out of the way that even Izuku hadn't heard of it until now, despite working across all of Japan. The town was known to be a haven for people with mutant quirks, given how far away it was from the more anti-mutant parts of Japan. They were adopted by Chutorai and Goriyum 8 years ago, when they were only 1 year old. They had a brother Sujin-yum, who unfortunately passed away 5 years ago due to a terrorist, anti-mutant attack on the town, done by the Creature Rejection Clan. And that was pretty much it. The rest was a mystery, as their documents were lacking. Both their quirk and their gender were listed as, and I quote, "Don't worry about it," and other information that should have been there was missing as well. Which is how he suspected they avoided getting noticed by DOC for so long. Despite how obviously illegal some of this paperwork was, Frisk and their family likely got away with it due to overall negligence and maybe so reality warping courtesy of that quirk of theirs. The power to grant wishes was a formidable ability and one that Izuku would need to know more about. In fact, he'd need to learn a whole lot more about this situation because, to be quite frank, that entire town was suspicious. Aside from Frisk, there are a lot of documents and data that should have been reported that are just not there or are clearly falsified, to the point where basically no information was getting out of that town anymore. Even the two heroes who stayed in that town, Undying and Red, had stopped communicating with the HBSC, outside of extremely infrequent and vague reports that pretty much explained nothing. What's more, there haven't been any reports of anyone going into or leaving that town, apart from Frisk, with many people visiting the area, only to say they never saw any sign of the town. And what made everything more suspicious was that all of this strange activity started happening immediately following the attack by the CRC. Thankfully, he knew where to look to start getting some answers. Naturally, Frisk had provided them with their parents' phone number, and their father, Gory, was the government official in charge of that town. Beep, beep. Beep, beep. Beep, beep. Hello, said a male voice over the phone, presumably Gory. Hello, Mr. Yum. This is Izuku Midoriya. Izuku introduced himself. You're that young man in charge of the Midoriya Foundation, Gory said in a friendly voice. Frisk mentioned something about becoming friends with one of your children. Well, it's a pleasure to meet you. I feel the same. Although, and I do hope you don't mind, naturally, whenever I allow someone into my house, due to all the incidents I've had to deal with, I do a fair bit of research into those people. Izuku explained. It appears I have some explaining to do. Gory chuckled nervously. You don't need to worry too much. I don't have any intention of reporting anything to the authorities, providing there's nothing immoral behind all of this. Izuku explained. Certainly not. It's just, I'm certain you're aware of the attack that happened in our town a few years ago. It was devastating, to put it lightly. Gory explained that Izuku could really hear the pain in the poor man's voice and felt a stab of guilt for bringing it up. I didn't want that to happen again, so I figured I'd just let our town fade into complete obscurity. If no one knows about it, they won't attack it. It was the best thing I could think of. The document tampering was in service of that. I see. Izuku thought about it. All of that made sense. It was a small town, full of people with mutant-type quirks. The government wasn't gonna add any protection, and most heroes weren't going to go out of their way to protect such a remote place with so few people. They had to fend for themselves, and the strategy they used, while illegal, was practical. As for hiding Frisk's quirk, well, I simply didn't want the government to get any ideas. I'm sure you understand how predatory they can be. Gori continued. Yes, that's perfectly understandable, although I would like some more details myself. Just between the two of us. Izuku requested. So long as you continue to keep our secret, I'll gladly do so, Gori said. Oh, something's come up. Can we continue this later? Of course. Have a nice day, Mr. Young, Izuku said as the call ended. Well, I suppose that is a perfectly reasonable explanation. Still, I might need to have a few people monitor the town, just for safety purposes. Snap. But first I need to focus on Mirai Orphanage. Izuku thought, deciding to focus on the town at a different time. Everything's in place. Now it's time to round them all up. I am going to be very busy soon.